This is the fifth video for Word Module 1 in the Shelly Cashman textbook. We're on page 1-61. And the first thing we're going to look at here is changing the document's properties. Every Word document, in addition to the text that you type in, has some properties that are not normally visible. And you can take a look at those by clicking on the File tab up here and clicking on Info. This brings up something called Backstage View. We've got some properties over here, so it'll tell you how big your file is, and how much time you spent editing it and so on, and some other basic data about the file itself. And one of the options here, the one they want you to look at in this case, is the comments. If you click next to the word comments, you can type in your own comments, and you can use this to help locate the file in the future. We're going to type CIS 101 assignment. If I click someplace outside the box, that completes the comment, and that takes care of our backstage view. Let's go ahead and click on the back arrow here and take us back into our normal document view. So now we are at the top of page 1-63. We're going to save our document. We've got on our quick access toolbar up here, we've got a little save icon, a little floppy disk. Click on that and it will save the document. If you have autosave on, obviously you don't need to do that. It will be saving it periodically as you work your way through the document. You want to close a document. You're done working with it. You're not going to, but you want to stay in Word. You can go to your File tab over here and you can click on Close. So let's go ahead and click on Close. Our document goes away. If we hadn't saved it ahead of time and we didn't have autosave on, it would remind us that we hadn't saved it and give us a chance to save the changes that we'd made. If you want to close and get out of Word, just go to the X up here in the upper right-hand corner. Okay, now let's go to page 1-64. We're going to open that document that we just closed. Let's go to our File tab here. And if you just closed it recently, it's going to be the top item on your list of recent files. If it's not on the list, then you may have to go look for it. So you can click on the Open tab over here. And if you want to look for it, you can check. Some older files will appear over here, so you might have an option to find it over here. If you don't find it over here, click on Browse, and this will bring up the standard open dialog box that all Windows applications use, and you can go look on your PC, look in different folders, and try to find the document you're looking for. Okay, I don't need to do that, so I'm going to click Cancel here. All I need to do is click on the one that is the most recent, and there it is. So now we've opened it. Now we're going to change the zoom on this. There's more than one way to change the zoom. You can go down here to the status bar and you can click the zoom factor right here. If you know quickly that what you want to do is you want to get to the width of the entire page, go to your view tab up here and click on page width and you'll get some really big text, but your document will fit the entire width of the Word window. So now we're on page 1-66 and we're going to start doing a little bit of editing here. We're going to insert some text. Go to number 1 here. Go over to the word apply. Click between the space and the letter A in the word apply. And we're going to type in the word then. And we need to put a space in, otherwise the word's going to run together. We'll get a red wavy underline telling us the word is misspelled. So all you got to do is move the cursor where you want the text to be and go ahead and start typing. It doesn't get any simpler than that. Now we're going to take a look at deleting text and cutting text. We want to go back to the Home tab. And we want to select a word. So we're going to double click the word then, and it's actually smart enough to pick up that extra space that we typed in as well. So select the word then, and there's two ways to get rid of it. If I hit the delete key on the keyboard, which I'm going to do right now, it goes away and it's pretty much gone forever. I'm going to undo that though, bring it back. Another way to get rid of it is to do a cut command. The difference between hitting the delete key and hitting the cut command up here is cutting it moves it to the clipboard. Okay, the clipboard is a storage area that Word keeps track of, and every time you do a copy or a cut command, whatever it is that you copied or cut out will get copied to the clipboard. And if it's on the clipboard, the advantage is that you can paste it in someplace else. So this time I cut it out, and what we're going to do is we are going to just paste it back in. So we got it back from the clipboard. Now at the bottom of page 1-67, we're going to look at copying and pasting. So we're going to take the word clean on number 1 here. We're going to select it, double click on it. The word clean gets selected. We're going to copy it. We're not going to cut it. We're going to copy it. So go up here and choose copy. Notice the keyboard shortcut is Control C for copy. If you don't know that one, you should learn it because this is a command that you use a lot. So let's go ahead and copy that to the clipboard. It stays where it is. We cut it out, it would disappear, but it would still go to the clipboard. This time it remains there and it goes to the clipboard as well. And now we're at the top of page 1-68. We want to position the insertion point at the location where the item should be pasted, and that is to the left of the word towel down here. So click to the left of the word towel, and we're going to paste it in. And now we have the word clean copied from the clipboard and pasted in here. By the way, it's still on the clipboard. If I wanted to paste it again, I could paste it as long as I wanted to until I put something else in the clipboard in place of that. Let's undo the last 2 things that I did here. So now your document should look like the one on page 1-68. There's another thing to notice here. When you go to the paste button up here, if there's a down arrow button on, if you click on the down arrow button, we've got some other options. So it'll keep the source formatting, but if you're copying from another document and the text is formatted differently, then what you may want to do is change it to match the formatting of this document. And then we've got an option here for doing a picture and just keeping the text. And it will do a live preview for you. In this case, they all look pretty much the same, obviously, except for the picture part. Okay, let's click off of the paste menu. By the way, the keyboard shortcuts for those were, let me select something here so those options turn on again. Cut is Control X. The X looks like a scissors. Copy is Control C. C stands for copy. And paste is Control V. V, it looks like kind of an insertion caret symbol that you would use to mark the place where you wanted to paste the new data. Okay, now we're on page 1-69, and we want to scroll down to the bulleted list down here. So just scroll down a little bit. We want to take this second line here. We want to make it the first one. There's a couple of ways to do it. One is just select the line. You can drag the mouse all the way across. Another way to select the line is to go to the left side here, and with the arrow pointing at 1 o'clock, click. Let's click off of that so we can see it happen. So I'm going to click now. So we want to just take the mouse, click, and drag. Watch the insertion point when it gets to the left of the letter A up here. You can let go. And now that's our first option instead of our second option. And it looks like when I typed this in the first time, it looks like I made a little typing mistake. Whoops, should be the word food, not the word foot. I'm going to undo. Actually, let's just drag it back down. Drag it down below this. And the other way to do it is not to use the mouse, but to use the keyboard shortcuts. Do a Control X to cut it out. So it's gone, but it's on the clipboard. And then go up here and position it where you want to insert it and do a Control V to paste it in. That takes us to the top of page 1-70. We're going to switch briefly to read mode. This is down here on our status bar. We've got 3 icons right here for different ways to look at our document. The one you're going to use almost all the time is print layout. It shows you what your document's going to look like exactly if you print it. We've got one here called read mode. We've got one here for web page layout. If you use Word as an editor for a page that you want to put on the web, it will show you what it'll look like on the web instead of on a piece of paper. But the author wants us to take a look at read view. Let's go ahead and click on the read view here. And because I'm down near the bottom of the document, it's not showing me the whole things here. So there is a little arrow button here that I can do to go back. And now it's showing the whole thing for me. And with read view, you don't do any vertical scrolling. That's basically, it takes care of the vertical scrolling. It tries to simulate the way you would look at a document if you were reading the document as a book. But you can't edit in read mode. So if you've got a document that you've downloaded, a long document, all you want to do is read it. You might choose to use this. But if you want to do editing, read mode isn't going to do it for you. So you're going to have to switch back over to our print layout mode. So let's go to the bottom of page 1-71 to save a document with the same file name. We've already done this before. I'm not sure why he puts it in again. Just click on the save button. We've got a picture of an obsolete floppy disk up here, but that's kind of become the standard icon for saving. So go ahead and click on that and it will save it. Now, if we go to the bottom of page 71 and then flip over to page 1-72, talks about printing. If you want to print, go to your File tab. Print is about halfway down the list. It'll show you what it's going to look like when it prints, even shows you the edge of the paper here. And you've got some options. If you don't want to print the whole thing, you can tell it, just to print the current page if you want to. Um, if you want to print certain pages, you can list the pages. So if I just wanted to print pages 1 and 3, just do 1, 3, and it will print those pages for you. I've only got one page here, so that's not going to make any sense. You can do one-sided or two-sided. You can change the page orientation. If you're doing this in the United States, your paper size is going to be 8.5 by 11. You can also go in here and change the margins if you want to. We get a bunch of choices. You can do custom if you don't like the defaults. And you can also tell it to do more than one page per sheet of paper if you want to. If you do, your text is going to start getting pretty small pretty fast. So, it's nice to save paper, but make sure it's readable before you go to print it out. We are not going to print anything. If we were, we would click on the print button right here, but we're not going to. So we're just going to hit the back arrow here and take us back into our normal editor view. Now we're going to take a look at using help in Word with the top of page 1-73. There's a couple of ways to do this. Well, the Tell Me feature isn't working on my computer today for whatever reason, so we're going to skip that, and we're going to go on to using the help feature of Word. So let's click on the help button over here on the left. Over here on the right, we'll get a window that opens up. We can type in whatever we want to learn about. So we're going to try margins here. Hit enter when you're done. So it'll come up and it will give us some instructions on how to do margins. It'll even show us how to do margins if we click on the button. And then it will point us to some other options here that are in the help that you can go to and read if you want to learn a little bit more about how margins work. When you're done with that, just click on the X here in the upper right-hand corner. And let's go back to our home tab, get rid of help, go back to our home tab, and now we're looking at our default view. At the bottom of page 175, they talk about signing out of a Microsoft account. We're not going to do that. We're just going to get out of Word. If you want to get out of Word, you should probably save your document first. So let's go up here and click on Save, and then just go to the X up here in the upper right-hand corner and click on that, and that will get you out of Word. And that takes us to the end of Word Module 1.